Today we are discussing an important topic related to hot weather. When the temperature rises or the country experiences extreme heat, it is essential to address this issue with great accuracy and detail. We're talking about sunstroke.
Sunstroke is a serious disease. If some individuals get sunstroke, what will they do? He helps in time. This may lead to his death, which means the consequences will remain dire.
Heat stroke or heat stroke, and this is the most accurate expression. Heat stroke is called a heat stroke or a heat stroke that is better than the expression heat stroke. It can get better without the sun. Heat stroke can occur at home while you are sitting at home, but the house is hot or the atmosphere is too humid, which means there is high humidity in the air, and some individuals who are more exposed to this problem will be talked about now. He may have all the symptoms of heat stroke without being exposed to the sun, and this may delay the diagnosis a little because people do not imagine that the condition may be due to the temperature is this degree F or heat stroke. This is a case of disease in which the body temperature rises very high, possibly reaching more than 40, and the body fails to adjust the temperature. The body is required to have mechanisms to adjust the temperature in hot weather, and the most important of these mechanisms is sweat. It sweats and the steam comes out. The one that rises after that, it goes down.
The degree of heat of the body causes the body to fail. When the temperature rises to a high level, these systems disrupt the cooling systems and therefore he does not sweat. And when he does not sweat, this happens. The problem is that his temperature continues to increase gradually. If he reaches 40, he may begin to damage some vital organs in the body, such as the brain, the heart, the lungs and the kidneys.
This leads to damage that may be permanent, it may continue for a long time to return, and it may lead to death.
Not all people are exposed to heat stroke to equal degrees. There are people whose situation is very dangerous. Keep in mind that children under the age of 4 are very vulnerable to sunstroke. Elderly people over 65 years of age are also right people. People with chronic diseases have a permanent kidney problem, have diabetes, have blood pressure or have a heart problem. Chronic diseases are also more vulnerable and are more vulnerable even if they are not exposed to the sun, as we said. Or people who work in hot climates have a strong physical job, which means they work a lot of effort, and during this effort they are exposed to heat, exposed to the sun, or exposed to humid atmospheres with too much moisture on them. They may also suffer from heat stroke or heat stroke. Main symptoms, the most important symptom is fever, high temperature. This must be a thermometer to measure the temperature with a thermometer. I find it contagious 40. We started to get into a dangerous heat stroke. Of course 39 is dangerous and 38 is also somewhat dangerous, but they say that until above 40 this is salvation. We have entered a stage where we need an ambulance. The skin of a person who has a heat stroke often remains dry, remains very irritated and remains red, and all of them are the result of waking up and losing sweat. However, some people remain sweaty as a result of having a heat stroke while exerting great effort during high heat or high humidity. He is sweating at that time, so you will find his body sweating from the behavior he had, but he fails to produce new sweat. This also remains one of the signs of the task, which is that the skin usually remains dry and remains red. Headache, if a headache also occurs, one begins to heat up and has a severe headache. Nausea, he has the desire to throw, increased breathing speed, and heart rate may also increase. For hours, muscle contractions occur. Likewise, cramps occur in some muscles, and cramps may occur in the stomach muscle, leading to restraint. Also, if someone who has a problem urinating enters, you may find that his urine is dark and dark. The darker the urine is, the bigger the problem is. It means that he has a very, very intense concentration of urine, and this means that he has a contour from the inside. For hours, we continue to reach the stage of mental changes that comes to him like a kind of agitation. He remains too nervous or a kind of hallucination.
They may struggle to speak coherently, sometimes resulting in stuttering or saying incomprehensible words. In speech, sometimes it brings to the topic of loss of consciousness. If loss of consciousness is considered one of the very dangerous signs for me, heat stroke, what should I do about it? If I saw someone in this condition, I saw someone from my family or someone even walking on the street, I saw someone who was exposed to such circumstances, and I saw these symptoms in him, and I knew that he was most likely suffering from heat stroke, what should I do? The first thing, of course, is that I must call for an emergency, which means that I must call an ambulance or try to transfer him to the hospital for things that we will do during this work. But I must be arranged for a hospital transfer because the time at that time will not be in our favor. I may have an hour ahead of me, 2 hours before he enters the hospital, meaning there will be no return. I must arrange for him to arrive at the hospital, whether by ambulance or not, in the meantime. My main goal is to cure him. Read, I need to lower his temperature. So I lower his temperature using many mechanisms. The first mechanism is that if I take him to the place, he will stay. If he has a problem in the sun, he will take him to the place, and he will have a problem in a house that does not have air conditioning. They take the place and there will be air conditioning. What is very important, and I do not have air conditioning, I turn on a fan, I act and get a fan and shine it on him, and I answer my... They poured it on him from every part of his body and turned on the fan in the presence of water on him. Water evaporated from it. It can stimulate the sweating process, and therefore it can begin to modify it. Who? From himself again. What is the clothing that he is wearing? Take off all of it for him. Let him wear very, very light clothing, or not wear some clothes, the places, and then I try to lower the heat as much as I can. They say the best things are if I put it in a bathtub, meaning in a bathtub, for example, or without water, and I put it inside this. Allah, the water flooded him. With water, and this water must be an hour. For hours, we even need to get 100 from the refrigerator, 100 with ice in it. But of course, it is possible not to apply the shock directly. Put the first one on it for a while, then after that I put a piece of ice on it so that it soaks with time, and this time will not be long. It will be, for example, 3 to 4 minutes, but I gradually deliver the water, or if I spray it with a water hose, if I pick up a piece of cloth and put it on it wet with water, and I answer a piece of ice. If so, snow is available, and put this snow on places where the arteries are large or large. I put it under the ventricle, I put it up the thighs, DD, places of strong, large arteries. And if these places get wet, the whole body gets cold, the whole body gets cold. Then I always put a temperature on the thermometer. If the temperature reaches below 38, I will stop the cooling process. I leave it, and it is, God willing, Heenan will lower the temperature by itself. But I strive to bring it down from 40. Or if the degree it has reached until it reaches 38, and after that I will stop the cooling operations if he is awake with me and he is trying. It means collaborator. I drink it as much as I can appreciate the evil of cold liquids, preferably with lemon on it. Lemon can help him if he also regains the body's natural cooling process again and avoids sugary substances. Do not crush sugary substances or enough. I mean, things that contain enough are very strong. Sugary substances reduce the body's speed of cooling. What he has, if he enters a state of hallucination, it is better not to drink too much water at that time. If he asks for water, he does not ask for a meme to give you, because most people remain in the hallucination as a result of a lack of salts. Lack of sodium in the body is what made it a problem. If you get water, there will be no sodium in it, and the problem will increase even more. Therefore, at that time, if he had to continue taking solutions containing salt, he would be in the hospital. The best thing is that I am not afraid of all this issue if I take prevention. We talked like this about how I can catch it, but prevention is better. Prevention is that I do not get scratched in the issue. Sunstroke, and this is about many things. First, clothes. When I am in this extreme heat, I go out with clothes on. Light and loose clothing, fine clothing will increase the chance of getting sunstroke. And I use an umbrella, or I use a tatka if I do not scratch the direct exposure to the sun, and I drink large amounts of fluids during hot days, so that I can drink every 1/4 hour, every 1/3 hour, especially people at greater risk, as we said, children, adults, or those with chronic diseases. It is possible every 1/4 hour, 1/3 hour, he drinks a pill, and he does not have to be thirsty to drink. My standard is the color of urine. If I enter the bathroom and find that the color of urine is light, are we okay? But if the urine is dark, it means that you need to replace other fluids. I avoid walking in the sun at certain times. They say from 10 in the morning to 6 in the evening during the summer. The heat is strong and it is a dangerous time. As for the rest of the general public, I can free time from 11 to 3. This is what I avoid from 1100 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, but if he is more exposed, such as children or the elderly, it is preferable not to be exposed from 10 in the morning to 6 in the evening. If he is exposed to the sun, he tries to take breaks if he stays away from the sun for a while in the shade, and after that he returns to the sun again. Even if the symptoms of what we talked about in 2000 appear, such as high temperature, dry skin, extreme thirst, or increased heartbeat and breathing, like what we said a while ago. If these mother issues arise, do not neglect them. Deal with them very quickly, because the issue may mean that it needs quick intervention. We are careful not to leave children or the elderly in cars in hot weather, even if the partner is open. And I personally saw the life. I mean, the son of a friend who died in a car that was forgotten, unfortunately, on Friday. The father and mother, each one thought that he had gone with the other. Saab. The child in Arabic was 4 years old and he died. He died inside the car. It is a dangerous issue, so we take care not to leave anyone inside the car.
Are you coming down too? If you can put sunscreen, which is what they put on the skin, and its protection factor is as high as 15, and in some studies they say 30 or higher, so that it prevents the direct influence of the sun on the skin. Of course, these are ways. I mean, we ask God Almighty to protect us from this the big problem, heat stroke.
We do it all and we take all our precautions.